The Owl House just keeps getting better and better every week with the character development, action, and advancement of the overarching story, and in all honesty, has already excelled way past my expectations for this sophomore outing. Season 2, Episode 9, Eclipse Lake, is our second to last episode before the mid-season hiatus, and with it we have a handful of revelations pertaining to Emperor Belos, dark implications behind Hunter's purpose, and an Amity-driven adventure that serves to show us how much she's grown since the days of trying to get Luz removed from Hexside. As always, we're going to run through the episode for the most interesting details you may have missed, and to stay in the loop with all of our Owl House content, from breakdowns to theories, please be sure to subscribe to the Roundtable with notifications on to never miss a video. The cold open finds Emperor Belos experimenting on the reconstructed portal within a chamber of the castle, leaving around a blueprint of the portal key, and a test book lies open on a very interesting page, displaying the instructions and ingredients needed to conjure up something referred to as a Grimwalker. We already broke down this page in our theory yesterday behind Hunter's true purpose, but to recap, a bulk of these items have already appeared throughout Season 2 thus far. The Galder Stones from Through the Looking Glass ruins, which increases the power of a witch's magic. Here, it serves as the heart and power of the Grimwalker, so this is the very thing that gives a Grimwalker life. Palistrum wood from Hunting Palisman, which of course is used to carve a palisman, here needed for keratin, which is the protein needed to maintain the structure of hair, nails, skin, and the lining of internal organs. So this could be what actually holds the body of a Grimwalker together. Stone Sleeper lungs, which we have yet to be introduced to, Silkydamas scales, with no stated purpose, but remember, Hunter was ordered to slay a Silkydamas in the Season 2 premiere separate tides, but Luz and Eda staged its slaying. We don't know if Hunter returned to the castle empty-handed, or if Belos plans to retrieve the Silkydamas in the future, but considering how much emphasis the show has been putting on Hunter's desire to impress his uncle, I could easily see this coming back to bite him in the ass. And last but not least, is another ingredient we've yet to be introduced to, the bone of Ortet. Ortet defined as the original plant from which members of a clone have descended. Couple all of this with the diagrams that show these ingredients being used to engineer a humanoid being, with reddish pink eyes and a nose identical to Hunter's, and you'll quickly form the conclusion that Hunter himself is a Grimwalker, artificial life. Which could be the real reason why he's unable to perform magic, instead of the initial assumption that Hunter could be a biological descendant of a half-human, half-witch. Though, given the definition of Ortet, whomever he's based off of in Belos' family tree could still be a hybrid, resulting in his powerless state. Again, you can already check out our theory on why Belos would create Hunter and why he's needed for the Day of Unity, but I will point out here, it's interesting that Palistrum wood is an ingredient needed to hold the body together. After all, Emperor Belos relies on the magical substance within Palisman to hold his own failing body together, maybe because Belos himself is a Grimwalker. I also wonder why this page in particular was open. Could it be that Belos is planning to create a new Grimwalker? Is Luz's clone back on Earth a Grimwalker? So many questions that I can't wait for this show to dig into. On that note, as Belos attempts to activate the portal, the tubes flowing into the door are that of a glowing green substance similar to the inside of Palisman. So I wonder if he's harvested a surplus of them to not only keep himself alive, but to act as a power source for this portal, leading to the aforementioned shortage in Hunting Palisman. Hunter eavesdrops on his uncle, still keeping his red cardinal palisman a secret from the big man, when Belos calls out his nephew's presence, leading to an unexpected face reveal. Seriously, I didn't think we'd get this so casually at the start of an episode within the first half of the season. But I think I prefer this as some big dramatic reveal during a fight that would just make the audience go, "Oh, that's it?" Because in terms of facial structure, he just looks like some dude with blue eyes. The most noticeable feature of his is this disturbing green streak that runs down his face, complete with 3 holes. I've seen suggestions that this could be rotting flesh. I myself speculated this could be related to plant magic, given its identical color to the spike he almost tried Hunter with previously, but that's not a hill I'm going to die on. In any case, it's a reflection of how severe his ailment truly is. A pretty compelling reason to keep the mask on, and upkeep the image of strength he presents across the Boiling Isles. Belos is also the only prominent humanoid character we met thus far who lacks shine in his eyes. They're just a solid blue, giving off a lifeless appearance. While the top of his left ear is pointed, and notched like Hunter's, it's nowhere as elongated and wide as other witches. It's almost as if it's a blend of a human and witch ear. Another hint that some hybrid shenanigans could be going down. Belos reminds Hunter yet again that the Titan has big plans for him regarding the Day of Unity, this time remarking that it would be such a hassle to find a replacement. Not only does this echo what Kikimora said to Rain at the end of Eda's Requiem,
"Guess I can look forward to my own petrification, huh?"
No.
It'd be too much of a hassle to find a replacement.
But it also hints at how Belos doesn't really view Hunter as a living being. He likely doesn't even see him as family. He sees Hunter as an ingredient, a means to an end, still keeping him around out of convenience, avoiding tryouts for a new pawn. Belos also mentions that he was on Earth once before, mentioning green trees and blue skies, but he doesn't state that he's from Earth. This could be a pretty strong hint that Belos isn't directly Philip Whittabane himself, so those supporting the idea that he's either a descendant or clone, there's your piece of evidence. Of course, Belos could also be withholding information, saying just enough to intrigue Hunter without spilling the beans. Back at the Owl House, Luz has come down with a common mold, leaving her bedridden and unable to retrieve the ingredient needed to forge a portal back to Earth, Titan's blood. So, Amity steps up and goes all in on girlfriend duty, getting Eda, Hootie, King, Gus, and Will together to take care of her and keep her protected on all fronts. We're also introduced to Amity's Palisman, a snow white cat with blue eyes named Ghost, based off Dana Terrace's real-life cat by the same name. This is my favorite kind of Easter egg in animation, naming animals after a pet, or just straight up putting your pet in the show in some way, shape, or form. Like how Lion from Steven Universe is named after Rebecca Sugar and Ian Jones-Cordy's cat, Lion. Or how Domino and Domino 2 from Amphibia are named after Matt Brawley's cat, Domino. More pets in cartoons, please. Give me all the pets. Eda attempts to tap into her Harpy transformation on command, simulating an anime-esque power-up sequence as she refers to an old movie dubbed Dragon Claw Z, an obvious parody of Dragon Ball Z, which leads to Amity calling out Eda for being old, which could also be a nod at how Dragon Ball is now kind of an archaic anime in this day and age. Despite there still being new installments made to this day, the franchise definitely doesn't have the iron grip and popularity that it once had. A lot more anime has surpassed it in the last decade. Eda does refer to Dragon Claw Z as a human workout, meaning this stemmed from the human realm. Eda states this film is particularly 30 years old, which is around the same time she would have been cursed and stumbled upon the portal to the human realm, leading to currently unseen adventures on Earth, such as totally marrying Sandpines, check out our video on that. So odds are, Eda watched this movie on Earth. To further the intrigue, the Vegeta-esque character has a striking resemblance to Everwolf, which makes me wonder if a biped or a beast demon snuck its way into the human realm, probably being identified as a cryptid, becoming integrated into Earth's mythos, and ultimately serving as an inspiration for the Dragon Claw characters, similar to how Goku is actually based off Monkey King, a legendary mythical figure. In her delirious state, Luz remarks that it feels like she has snakes for arms after putting socks in her hands, which is another instance of the protagonist mentioning snakes, supporting the snake palisman theory. And it could also be a nod to Romulus from Star vs. the Forces of Evil, a show I've actually been rewatching lately, and will still vehemently defend the first 3 seasons of. Luz and Amity are also communicating through Tamagotchi, Amity being represented by a white cat, and Luz represented by a black bat. Considering Amity's Palisman is a cat, this could be a hint that Luz's Palisman will be a bat, which could be confusing considering all the snake imagery going on, but considering we already threw out there the notion of a winged snake Palisman, it may not be as confusing as it seems. Luz also ponders if she'd return home to the human realm by consuming the portal key. While this could just be a gag to prompt Amity's confiscation of the key, we do learn in this episode that Titan's blood lies within the key. Since Titan's blood is the substance needed to create a gateway between worlds, what would happen if it was consumed by a human or witch? Would they temporarily gain the ability to travel between realms in an instant? Random spitballing, but keep this line in the back of your head. The Echo Mouse works his magic and unveils another entry from Philip's diary. The traveler spent 5 years in the Boiling Isles, growing a beard within that time, when he learned of Titan's blood, which, when put in a body of water, creates a portal to the human realm. In particular, Old Tales claimed that the lakes reflected green trees and blue skies, which stood out to me, as that's exactly what Belos said to describe Earth earlier. We also learn of a development that could have contributed to Philip spiraling at some point, as his entire crew perished on his mission to find Titan's blood, something that could factor into Belos' disdain for wild magic. Philip reveals he arrived here through one of these lakes, so I wonder what led him to presumably be thrown into a body of water in the first place. Was this an accident? Was this an attempt on his life? Learning more about Philip's life before the Boiling Isles could end up communicating quite a bit pertaining to Belos' motives in present day. Elsewhere at the knee of the Titan, Kikimora is already hastily mining for Titan's blood, wanting to get the jump on Hunter, who's also on the scene, disguised as a low-ranking guard. Since she tried to kill Hunter, plotting to cover up his death, Hunter becoming aware of this plot, and Kikimora becoming aware that he's aware, it seems that Kikimora has become restless and increasingly unhinged, wanting to prove that her worth outshines Hunter's in the eyes of Emperor Belos. I have a feeling that both of them will be screwed over by Belos once shit really hits the fan. And real quick, Eda references that Titan's blood is the most powerful source of magic on the Isles. And this got me thinking, what other applications could Titan's blood have beyond interdimensional travel? Comment your speculations down below. I suspect that Hunter's Palisman has an inclination to drive him towards a redemption arc, away from Belos' dominion, given that upon seeing Eda, King, and Amity, the Cardinal dragged Hunter by the hair as a way to bring him directly to his adversaries. Perhaps the Cardinal believes that Hunter should trust and befriend them. Once the gang captures Hunter and heads into the cave, Eda suggests that King uses echolocation to find the lake, but it doesn't exactly pan out. However, I do think this could be a hint that King is capable of such an ability, he just needs to figure out how. There's a few interesting developments regarding the Emperor's Coven in this episode. For starters, Kikimora is so clouded by her jealousy and desperation that she disregards Amity's own mission for the Titan's blood after Amity rats out Hunter. She doesn't care what happens to Amity, which of course is dangerous for her, as if Amity went and exposed any information about her brushing with the Emperor's Coven, Kikimora would certainly face repercussions for leaving loose ends. Kikimora is quickly becoming a liability, and I'm starting to have a hunch that she will be her own undoing, not Hunter. I also want to draw attention to the unnamed guard captain that assists Kikimora throughout this episode, as they're provided with quite a bit of dialogue, more than the average guard has so far. It's possible this guard could grow into a bigger role in the series, becoming someone we're acquainted with, face reveal and all. Hell, should something happen to Kikimora, this episode could very well be getting us familiar with her replacement. After all, they're more focused on the mission than Kikimora herself. And last but not least, pertaining to Emperor's Coven developments, we witnessed some of those new Abomaton features developed from the investments of the Emperor's Coven. Not only are they capable of putting up defensive force fields to shield those they serve, but they can also channel their inner transformer, shifting into the form of minecarts. A short-lived stint, however, as they crashed off screen shortly after. We also learned that Palisman are unfortunately capable of literally cracking under pressure, as an unconscious Albert nearly shatters from the weight of Eda, King, and Amity, leading to Eda communicating with the Owl Beast, reaching a compromise as Harpy Eda breaks out into the scene. Amity and King find Hunter in the dried up lake, without a single drop of blood in sight. Hunter has a nervous breakdown that was honestly really hard to watch, one that shows how much of a parallel Hunter is to Amity, almost as much as he parallels Luz. Much like how Amity used to live by every single word and rule of her parents, terrified of disappointing them, Hunter feels as if there's no point returning to the castle empty-handed, feeling as if he'll just be thrown away by Belos, viewed as a disappointment. Here's a fun fact: Hunter's voice actor, Zeno Robinson, revealed that this breakdown was actually one of the scenes included in the audition for the character. Amity empathizes with Hunter and extends a hand in friendship, which the Golden Guard seems to consider taking up until he notices that Amity is in possession of the portal key, the last source of Titan's blood around. Weighing his options, Hunter quickly decides to attack Amity and steal the key for his own gain. King tries to attack Hunter with a sound wave, but Hunter's Palisman is quick to halt it with its own defenses. It can, evidently, nullify magic. As Amity and Hunter begin to battle further, Hunter instinctively tries to pull out the old teleportation trick, but has to adapt given that he's dealing with real magic with a being he has to form a relationship with, rather than artificial magic driven by technology. Hunter's teleportations are signified with a bright golden glow, not only bringing the name Golden Guard full circle, but is extremely reminiscent of Minato from Naruto Shippuden, Naruto's father with the moniker Yellow Flash, zipping around the battlefield with golden streaks in a similar fashion. This beautifully animated action sequence also provides a look at Amity's growth in abomination magic, forming a defensive barrier of abomination goop, punching Hunter with a spiked abomination glove, and even momentarily trapping Hunter in a spear. I love how flexible abomination magic has shown to be throughout the second season, between Amity and Darius, and I hope to see more pretty cool stuff from this track down the line. Hunter and Amity reach a draw, leading to Hunter threatening Amity with Luz's safety. Of course, Amity surrenders completely, handing Hunter the key, but not before applying enough pressure to crack the eye of the key, extracting a bit of Titan's blood for Luz onto her own hand before handing the key off to Hunter. Now, things have truly gone from bad to worse, as even if it's only a fraction of the blood, Belos will still be able to operate the portal. This is a devastating loss for the Bad Girls Coven, and I'm not sure if there's anything further they can do at this point to intervene and stop Belos before it's too late. The Day of Unity is poised to be a success. Back at the Owl House, Luz recovers from the common mold and finds that a bunch of mushrooms have grown in her hair, questioning if it's permanent, which may or may not be a nod to Amphibia, where the main character, Anne Boonchoi, frequently has leaves and sticks in her hair on an episode-to-episode basis, even when she has outfit changes that clearly excludes them. Spoiler alert, after the season 2 finale, however, it seems as if those leaves and sticks kept popping up for a reason. Anywho, Amity now has to break the news about the mission, although there is good news to share as well, but again, things are getting scary fast. This episode ends on a similar note for Hunter that Hunting Palisman did, continuing to develop his bond with his Palisman, finally being able to understand the critter after engaging in their first witches duel together. I am deeply afraid Belos is going to crack this bird open like a walnut, and I just want both of these rascals to be protected. But with that, Eclipse Lake comes to a close. As always, I want to know what you guys think. How did you feel about this episode? What are your theories on Belos, Kikimora, and Hunter? Let us know in the comments down below, or over at Roundtable Vids on both Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me at OstricVox. If you enjoyed this video, please throw it a like, and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great Owl House content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. See ya!